Well, good midday, good midday, good midday, good midday to each and every one of you. We pray that God's providential care and hand is resting upon you in ways as has never been seen before. And we're grateful to God for you, one and all. Kathy Wilson, yes, I am. Yes, I am. So we're grateful to God for you. Thankful to God for you. I don't even know what I did with my other water. So we're just going to move forward and see what happens from there. So we are grateful for you and thankful for you and overwhelmingly appreciate the fact that you are here. Linda, how are you? Cora, you being good today? I got to ask Anthony about that because he'll tell me the real deal. Ayana, Cecile, make sure you tell Larry we said hello. Tom, Minister Sarah, Sherry Lovelace of the Cameron, thank you so much for being here with us on today. Tamika, Sharon, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Jemison, bless the Lord for you being here with us on today. Dreary day, rainy day, but it's still a good day. Oh, bless his holy name. It's still a good day. It's still a very prominent and powerful day. Barbara Foos, how are you? Gladys, how's everything going? Tom beat you today. Ain't that about nothing? Okay. And so we are grateful to God. Stephanie, thank you for being here. Thank you so much, Iris. I appreciate that for letting us know that all is well. Rhonda Fletcher, Vernice Bird, Raymond, Nancy Harrison, Doe Dickey, bless you, bless you. Bible class, was it? Was it? Hey, Iris, how are you? A quick draw. I love it. 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 And so we're thankful to God for you being here with us on this day. Joe Wilson, thank you so much, sir. And thankful that you have taken time out of your schedule to be a part of this learning experience. We are grateful for you, one and all. Okay. And so we're thankful. Trying to get all of this stuff lined up for the cruise. We're just about done. And then we'll be able to go forward. Just waiting to hear from a couple more people. And then we can press on from there. Lady Bowling, how are you, Minister Faye? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, I am still, I can't think of his name, the pastor over in Liberia. Uh, and I'm going to have to text him because I got to let him know that I appreciate the fact that he was blessed by our presentation on yesterday. My daughter is okay. Carolyn, how are you? Um, good, good. You'll love it. You'll love it. Stephanie, um, she's pretty sick. I thought Lady Harrison said she was going to the ER, but she's actually went to the doctor. The doctor sent her across the street. They're doing this barrage of tests. If anything comes out wrong, she is immediately going to the ER. And so I'm asking that you would pray for my daughter, pray for Lady Harrison, because two strong-willed women in the same space. My God, my God, my God. And so we're moving on from there. Good midday, Carletta Lynn. Ain't heard from you in a while. You must be hiding. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm grateful to God for you being here. So um, I could say something, but I'm gonna just keep that to myself because y'all know, y'all know, y'all know. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. That's right. Medical miracles. Jaleesa, bless you for being here. Pamela. And so the fervent prayer of the righteous avails much. And I am so grateful, believe me, for your prayers. And then I'll jump in the ring a little bit later and pick up the pieces. Okay. Well, we're praying for you as well. So listen. We exhausted, Chaplain Hearns, bless you for being here. We exhausted the qualifications, the litmus test, if you will, as to whether one is in the will of God or not. And I want to talk about something else. Elder Pamela Mansell, thank you for being here. I want to talk about something else because there's one thing that the enemy, Rosabelle, bless you for being here. Valerie, thank the Lord for you being here. The one thing that the enemy is absolutely notorious at is isolation. Now, I want to talk about this for just a moment because whenever you are going through anything, whenever you are suffering from anything, whenever there's a trial, a issue, Lisa, Elder James, Marcel, thank you for being here. Listen, whenever there is unexpected trauma or escalating traumas, whether there is abandonment, whether there is some level of being forsaken or ignored, or your existence isn't actually being validated, it can create this isolation spirit. Ethel Randolph, thank you for being here. Listen to what I'm saying. And I think, all right, Barbara, be safe. Victor and Trinette, thank you. Listen to what I'm saying, because this is important. The one thing that pulls us, all right, we're glad Dad's doing as well as he is. The one thing that pulls us away from not only each other, but also can pull us away from the Lord, Denise, is isolation. Lavonda, it can create a false reality that not only affects you and other people, but also affects how we deal with one another and the Lord. Because the truth of the matter is, once you have reached a certain level of dysfunction, and I'm just going to deal with it the way it needs to be dealt with, because isolation creates dysfunction, because it distorts the world that you live in. It distorts your reality. It creates some levels of paranoia. It creates a level of skepticism, that can spill over into your everyday reality, to the point that you don't trust anybody, to the point that you don't believe anybody, to the point that you really can't put your trust or your hope in anything, when anybody. It also spills over into our trust with God, because here's what the enemy is good at. Because you got to remember, hey, LMA dear, you have to remember that the enemy is a master of lies and lying. And when he lies to you and you embrace that lie and it becomes a part of your reality, how are you, Sister Thomas? Then everything around you is bad. And then what the enemy is good at is exposing you to other lies and other distortions and other situations that only intensify that small seed that was planted, because I'm all by myself. When I talk about being by myself, it has nothing to do with being in around people. It has nothing to do with being in a crowd, because you can be in a crowd of people and still feel by yourself. You can get to the point that nobody understands you. Nobody knows what you're going through. Nobody knows how you feel. Nobody. And what we have to understand is that when we make these decisions, we have to make sure that as we do so, we recognize that we are not by ourselves. You have to understand that the ultimate will of God is that you know him, that you love him, that you glorify him, and that you serve him. The ultimate will of God is that you know him, you love him, you glorify him, and you serve him. And you cannot do any of those things in isolation. You cannot do any of those things in abandonment. You cannot do any of those things feeling that nobody else cares or understands what you're going through. He wants you to have abundant life now, Katrina Foster. He wants you to have abundant life now. Listen to what I'm saying, because for the most part, we have only focused on the abundant life later. Oh God. We always talk about the after while and the by and by. We always talk about when over yacht. We always talk about those things, but we have to be able to navigate and manage life without the enemy destroying our hope, our faith, our trust. And so one thing that you have to know, one thing that you must know, one thing that must be in your life unequivocally is for you to know that he is there for you. He wants you to prosper. He wants you to grow. He wants you to develop. He wants you to access. He wants you to do all of those things, but you can't do them when you don't believe. Ooh. You have to understand that the Lord is not so rigid. My God, he's not so rigid that he has not had levels of flexibility in your life. I want you to think about this for just a moment. How flexible has God been in your life when he should have cut you off, when he should have just totally ignored you, when he should have just said, you are not really worth my time? It's been flexible. Not only has he been flexible, he's been kind, he's been just. Even when you don't think he is, he's still just. He has goals for our lives. And those goals, hey, Cynthia, those goals don't change. Those goals don't change just because you done changed up on him. And how many times have we changed up on God, but God didn't change up on us? Do I have? I'm really trying to get through this lesson without me going crazy and all of that, because I need us to understand that's where your joy comes from, is the fact that you recognize that God has not done anything. He hasn't done a minuscule to you what we have done to him. We have not treated him right. We have not been right to him. And yet still he continues to show us mercy. He continues to be loving and kind and gentle. And yes, every now and then he has to put his foot down. But even in the midst of putting his foot down, because he loves you, he disciplines you. He wants us to be so close to him that we're not afraid of him. Oh, God, Lord have mercy. He wants us to be so close to him that we're not afraid of him. Because see, if I'm afraid of you when I mess up, I won't approach you. When I'm afraid of you and I've done something wrong, I will not talk to you. I will pull myself away from you, because that fear, and you remember the one pastor said, and fear creates torment, which means what? Now that I'm no longer close to the Lord, now that I'm no longer in appropriate fellowship with him, where do I go? Who do I trust? What do I depend on? And we look at all of those things. My phone keeps going off because it's the it's the dealership calling me. I'm trying to Help my granddaughter get a car. Pray for me, please. Please pray. Please, please pray for me. Gelada. Okay. And in the midst of all of this, y'all just don't know. My world is just crazy right now. But you know what? And somebody said this, Callie, how are you? Somebody said this when I put the thing out there about praying for my daughter. God's got something great on the other side of this because he done unleashed everything he could think of. And so he is blowing up my phone. But I'll get to him because y'all are more important, right? Oh my God, I'm so glad that God is not like us. Because we don't forget anything. And so in the midst of this, he says, he will never leave you nor forsake you. He will never leave you nor forsake. He will never leave. He will never leave you. Listen. And the knowing of his presence is not predicated upon how you feel. It's predicated upon what you know. And my problem from time to time is I want to feel him because Black folk feel God. Black folk embrace God in a different way. White people intellectualize God. Black folk embrace God. Oh, God. That's why we're emotional, Debbie, in what we do, and we react in a different way because we're not trying to internalize him. We're trying to experience him. But the problem is, in the midst of being emotional, I do need to have some levels of intellect because when the emotion is over, I still need to manage and navigate life. When the good feeling is gone, I still need to know something. Because God is not predicated in his power and his presence upon happy feelings. He's predicated on the fact that his word and his promises are yea and amen. The Lord will always be there to help you in every decision that you have ever tried to make. The Lord will be there even when you make the wrong decision. Because let me tell you what God does. I know y'all not ready for this. God, because some of y'all going to be like, well, if that's the case, I might as well go on out here and cut up. No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's the goodness of the Lord that should lead to repentance. But God, because he already knows you're going to misstep. He already knows you're going to go in the wrong direction. He already knows. Remember I told you, and I can't think of it right now because I got so much floating through my mind. God, you remember what I said? God works backwards. Y'all remember what I said? And it's in the Bible. God goes from what you shall be and moves backward to where you are. And the reason he does this is because he already knows what you're going to do. So he works backwards to orchestrate different things in that process to get you to where he knows you will be. And if there's something you ought to know, is there will never be a moment of abandonment. There will never be a moment of isolation. And even in those moments when God is silent, he's still speaking. Oh, God. He's still speaking. He's still speaking. He's still speaking. Why? Because his word shall not return void, but it shall accomplish that which he has already purposed in your life. So guess what? When I went through that time when my colon ruptured and God wasn't talking to me, I didn't need him to because I already heard what he had to say. It was already ingested into my spirit. The only thing I had to do was walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil because God was with me. And there are times when God does not be redundant and repeat himself. Sometimes he just says something once. That's the end of the conversation because we walk by faith and not by sight. I know him. Paul says that I might know you and in the power of your resurrection. I might know you, that in the midst of my struggles, in the midst of my hard times, I know that it all works together for my good, even when it doesn't feel good. He cares about us. Well, I don't believe he cares. Yes, he does. He sent his son to die for folk that hated him so that one day we would love him. He cares for us. His care is not like ours. Our cares are conditional. His is unconditional. And so when we looked at those steps, God is right there. When we examined how he operates, God is right there. In those silent moments, he's there. In the moments of decision, he's there. In the moments of missteps and mistakes and blatant rejection, he's still. Why is he still there? Because we carry his name. And he will never turn his back on what belongs to him. I gotta go. Listen, y'all. I pray that you were blessed this week. There will not be a snapshot on Friday. I just got word yesterday that the celebration of life for Dickie Atkinson is tomorrow at the Tabernacle Baptist Church, and that's where I'm going to be. Deacon Dickie Atkinson was a jewel to Youngstown, and I want to be there with the family and the church family to let them know that we appreciate the time that God lent Deacon Dickie Richard Atkinson to Youngstown, Ohio. So y'all pray for that family. Y'all pray for my daughter, pray for my wife, pray for my granddaughter. I'm getting ready to call. This man back so he can, you know, that song in The Wiz, "Don't Bring Me No Bad News." Oh my God. Pray for Saturday as we prepare to celebrate the life of Mama Nan. And we're trusting and believing that God will bring them through. And I want you to understand. And I need you to get this. Okay. Did AT&T finally get themselves together? Oh, that's all I got to say. AT&T went down. People couldn't even communicate with one another. There's a message in that. I'm going to use that. What happens when the signal drops? Woo! Let me move on. Got a lot going on. Got a lot to deal with. Got a lot of families to minister to. And so we're going to do what we need to do. Then we got to preach on Sunday morning. So y'all pray for me. Yeah, T-Mobile, I heard about them as well, but not as bad as AT&T. Love y'all with the love of Jesus, who is the Christ. Don't forget tomorrow, no snapshot. I'll put it out here to let everybody know there won't be a snapshot. No, there is no class this Saturday. It's next Saturday. Okay. No class this Saturday. It's next Saturday. Y'all loving this class, and you don't know how much I appreciate that. Y'all make my day. May God bless you. May he keep you is our prayer.